Hello, my lovelies. Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing? Hope everybody's keeping safe in your respective ends. Hope everything's going smoothly with you all. Well, today I'm back again about to share this story with you all. Hoping to get your advice again, comments. Well, the story is about two lovers back in the days. About I'm going to give their phone number. I'm going to go with the giving name as usual. About Beverly and Reginald Brooks. Well, they met in school. Reginald was this charming guy described by Beverly when he was charming, quite attentive of her, you know, giving her these vibes of gentleman, like the dates they kept having. He was showing these qualities of this mature, good guy stuff, and she fell wholeheartedly for that. And it so happened that one of these dates, she came up with a good news. She was pregnant. And she shared this with her boyfriend, Reginald. And guess what? He was happy and overwhelmed. Oh, that's what every woman, that's the wish of every woman. Like when you give this good news to your partner, he's also happy. And there, the gentleman he is, the loving guy he is, he proposed to her, and before you know it, they were planning a wedding. So they actually got married in November 1964. Oh, it was lovely. It was a fairy tale. She back in those days, wedding marriage was, how can I say, women really were not wanting to go into the subject of controversial or saying women now don't take it serious. Just saying like it was more traditional when you say the idol vows and all that, they really take it seriously and to that do us part. So Beverly was in for it. That's what she always wanted. And having a baby on the way, already a family, everything was cool. Well, she was quite young and naive, though her husband, Reginald, was a bit older than her, more mature. But she was ready to learn. She was ready to make a family and be a mother. And, those things comes naturally, learn along the way. So, moving in, they got married, they had their first son. And before you know it, second son came in. Wow, what a blessing. And just then, the husband, Reggie, started acting a little bit strange. Well, it all started when he wouldn't want to associate himself with people. He would distance himself and would also want to distance Beverly from people on the outside world. Well, there was this case where Beverly, right, favorite uncle came into town to visit, and well, she was like, "Oh my God, I've got to give my favorite niece a visit." So her mom gave a call to Beverly home, telling her about the news. Your uncle is here. He would like to see you and stuff like that. And Beverly was just so happy, so overwhelmed, and she was like, she invited them to come over, for them to catch up and stuff like that, to come to her place. And she made all the arrangement, the date and the day and everything. And when she hung up, the husband was there and was like, "I would really not want anybody to come visiting." She was confused, but this is my family. It's not like friends. This is my mom and my favorite uncle wanted to visit, and he stood by his words. He was like, "No one. I really did not want anybody to come visiting." Well, she being young, naive, this new wife, she didn't really find at that moment. She really didn't see any big deal in it. Remember, he was not physical abusive. He didn't scream at her or shout at her. He just said normally, like, you're not having a conversation and you'd be like, I want to invite this person. And you'd be like, no, I really don't want them around. Just say it calmly. And even though it's, I don't really understand why, but you wouldn't want to see it offensive just the way the person put it forward. I don't know if I should call that narcissist or what, but hey, I don't want to go deep into things now, calling names and stuff. So it just so happened, well, back in those days, there were no like cell phones and stuff like that for her to like call to cancel programs or stuff. So it just so happened that the uncle and her mom came on the set day and the time, and they were knocking at the door. And this is awkward because sometimes when you be like, I don't want these people around, but when they're actually there physically, you just like, let them in. You're like, okay, even though I don't want them around, well, they're already here, let me just let them in, and before you know it, they're gone. But they actually did come to the house, knocking at the door, and they were sitting in the living room, and he told her, instructed her not to attend to the door. Wow, that's strange. Her mom and her uncle, like, it's not a friend. These are her close relatives. Like, that's, well, they kept knocking and knocking. She tried to go get the door, and he just told her, I have said I don't want anybody to be around. Nobody's coming in. And they eventually left. She this didn't really sit well, but she doesn't know what to do. She didn't even know how to go explaining to families and stuff like that. And well, coupled with the fact that her husband, Reggie, was this nice, loving guy. Remember, he was not physically abusive, or he didn't raise his voice, or he didn't, that kind of commanding or being physical or shouting, stuff like that to pass through his message. He was quite calm, like talking like a mature person. So that didn't make much of a commotion. That made her to like slide about what was actually happening. So, well, she was like, okay, maybe my husband is a loner. Everybody have got their characters. No marriage is perfect. Well, I'm going to respect the fact that you're a loner, but don't drag me into it. I'm going to go about my activities. I'm going to interact with people and stuff like that. If you don't want it, fine and good. But I am going to continue with my activities. So it now got to the point where each time when the people will call to want to come and visit, just to prevent this incident from happening, she always suggests to come over to your place instead, like, so the husband won't have to give excuses of not coming or not letting anyone in, and she being embarrassed in the situation. So that's how she prevented such incident from happening. Well, I gave her praise because some other would make a fuss of it, but she tried to look at the bright side and try to understand that, okay, this is his character, this way is, and let me make another way out of it. So yeah, moving forward, when they had their third born, wow, things didn't even get much better. He was getting more and more paranoid, like he just was not going out anymore. He will not go out to activities. He will not even go out when they're invited as a couple. Even spending time out with kids, like going to the cinema or going to the park, like spending out with the family. He will always, always be at home, sitting at the porch, just staring. And every time he gets invited, he'll turn it down. He will not even visit his own family. Yeah, he went that far. He won't visit his own family. But Beverly was like, okay, I respect your choice, I respect your ways, but like I said, I'm not getting into this. You're not going to drag me into your dark world. You're not going to disassociate me with the public, with the society. I'm going to do whatever I'm doing, and I'm going to take my kids along with me. You want to stay alone? Fine and good. You stay alone in your dark world where you are, but I and my kids are going to have fun of life. We're going to meet people. We're going to go to activities. So that's pretty much what Beverly was doing. She was getting involved in activities, stuff like that, her and the kids, while he was just being on the source end. But it really got worse each passing day. to this extent now, he was feeling paranoid. He was like always saying somebody's out there is trying to hurt him, like trying to kill him. And it got to the point where he actually accused Beverly, his wife, of trying to poison the food, the meal she made for supper. She made this beef steak, and after he had it, he started complaining of stomach ache. And he was accusing his wife Beverly and was like, "What did you put in the food?" And Beverly was like, "What do you mean, Apple? I didn't put anything in the food." Like, he was saying that you poisoned me. Why am I feeling sick? And Beverly was like, "This is the food I sell for everybody. The kids also have the kids also ate this food. Why do you think I want to do anything evil or want to kill my kids? I didn't do anything." And he was not having it. And he told his wife Beverly, "You have to prove that you didn't put anything in this food. You have to taste the food." Well, that was awkward, but well, knowing Beverly, trying to always look at the bright side of things, trying to always respect who the husband is, she went ahead and tasted the food, and well, nothing happened to her. But his condition was still getting worse, and she realized that okay, something's actually wrong with my husband. And he insisted and forced you. Remember, he was somebody that wouldn't like to go out. He wouldn't want to go out to do anything. So she had to pressure him to take him to the hospital. Imagine you are in a state where you can't even feel yourself, and your wife has to actually imagine the realm he was in. I don't know how to call it. The state he was already in. So it was she took him to the emergency and realized he had appendix. And the doctors actually said, "Wow, this man, if he had stayed just half an hour more at home, he could have been dead," because they realized the stage of the appendix was quite critical. Could have had a rupture. And the wife was like, "Wow, where is all the like just in half an hour the story could have been different. So moving forward, after that, well, the paranoia didn't stop at all. He was still insisting somebody out there was trying to get to him. He was also this type of person that believed in supernatural stuff, voodoo and stuff like that. So it was always like somebody else is trying to get to him. It got so worse that he was even accusing his co-workers, and he resigned from work. He quit his job, still saying somebody's trying to get to him. He quit his job totally to stay at home. Like, this Reggie totally dissociate himself with the outer world. He was just in his home at his corner. Just that's not right. Like, but Beverly, being who she was, respectful, not wanting to like see in another way, she let him go by his stuff. Well, remember, Reggie was not physically abusive. He was not the one that will shout. He was not the one that will cause commotion, something like that. So all these acts, she was not seeing it as a big deal. So he just kept acting more and more strange. Like, he wouldn't even want people around. When the sons grew older, they started having friends around. Each time the friends would come around, he would immediately leave to his room, to their bedroom. And he would stay there the whole time till everybody moves out. And that's not even all. During this period, he would always come peeping and spying on them, what they are doing. And the kids felt creepy, like they felt that was not right. And well, Beverly always give excuses. Well, he's not alright. That's just him. He's actual. Anyways, he's not harming anyone. So there is no harm in it. So well, she was really used to it by then, and she didn't see any worry. He was not harming anyone. There was nothing much of a concern. So well, but that it just keeps getting worse and worse every day. He was just keep having episodes on episodes. There was this one moment, like, he would just sit stare at the TV. Back in those days when they were not the TV program will be going on, and when there is no more, like I think it was like 11 or something, when there's no more like TV program, the TV will just not shut down, not actually like shut down, but it will have this noise, like it will just have the, I don't know if somebody, I don't know how to really explain it, things, it will not go dark, it will just have this noise giving you, right up to that moment. Reggie will still keep staring at the TV. Well, that's creepy. You're watching the TV till that point when there is no program and it's night, your partner is trying to sleep. Remember, he's quit his job. She's not the breadwinner of the family. She needs to get some rest in order to be informed the next morning, in good shape to go to work. But he wouldn't let her. And she was like, she called on him like, could you turn off the TV so I can have some rest? Tomorrow I've got to go to work. And he didn't even respond to her. He just kept staring at the TV. And well, Reggie was not about to cause a commotion or try to do anything that would trigger, because during this period now, his paranoia and creepy ways, she doesn't know what can trigger him or something. So she was just always trying to stay at her safe space. So she didn't go up to turn the TV. She just went right on and slept through the noise. When you're tired, you can sleep even in the rain at times. So that went by, and this one night she woke up to a burning smoke smell, and she was like, where is this coming from? She went downstairs and she realized in the oven there was this doll that was burning the oven. Like, she immediately took it out and put running water on it, and everything was okay. Well, it has not really escalated to the stage of it catching fire and stuff. And she immediately knew it was the husband that's done it, because he is the one who is fond of doing creepy things in the house, paranoid things. He is the one that, and she went upstairs. The husband was actually sleeping, and back in her mind, she knew, well, he has done this thing, and gone back to sleep. And she confronted him. As always, he didn't utter a word. He didn't say nothing, nada, nothing at all. Well, I don't know how she was really keeping it cool, how she was even sleeping next to this. I don't even know if I can close my eyes next to someone like this. Anyways, couple to another episode. One morning she woke up, doing her normal routine. She always go downstairs, check around before waking up the kids. So she saw her son, the last son. He had this favorite doll. It was just hanging on the chandelier, and she thought, oh wow, maybe they were playing last night and the focus was not there. But when she went closer, she realized it was actually strung up there with a loose. It was strung up there with a loose, and the heart area of the doll was taken out, was ripped out. That's creepy, really creepy. And in her mind, there's no other person that could do this. Before, she thought it was the kids that were playing and left it up there. But looking at the act of what happened, she immediately knew it was her husband. She quickly took it down, not wanting the kids to come and see it, because they are not mature enough to that might have creeped them out or something, made them scared. So she went again to confront the husband, and again, he didn't say anything. Well, I give a whole applaud to Beverly for taking all of this. Like, yeah, he's not physically abusive, but I think this is mentally emotional torture to an extent. Like, doing creepy stuff like that, hurting personal stuff of your loved ones, that's dangerous. For me, that's dangerous. Like, you don't need to go physical. So, well, fast forward to now. she one night she had this commotion going on in her son's room, and she like, what is happening? What is going on? When she stormed into the room, she realized her husband was actually on the firstborn, hitting him. And when she like tried to stop and get in the middle to try to separate them, and she was like, what is going on? What makes you like, this is the first before that, like, yeah, before that, she came home back home from work, and she heard her husband like chanting something scary, like chanting this kind of voodoo kind of song, things like that, in the room. She went, knocked at the door several times. He didn't open the door, and she was scared. She took the kids to the room, to their room, called on the police. The police came. They knocked on the door and said they were police, and he opened the door and asked if they could come in. He gave them access. They spoke for a while. She didn't get in. She was a little bit scared, and the police came out, and they were like, "Madam, everything is okay." And she was like, "Why are you not taking him with you?" And they said, "Well, there is there is nothing they can charge him with. They can take him for custody." And she was like, "Well, he's not acting normal. He's not okay." But they were like, "Well, he's not done any physical stuff. He's not physical with them. If at all he gets physical with them, with her or the kids, then you should give them a call. They will have now enough grounds to take him for custody. But right now they can't take him because there is nothing. He's responded to their question normally, and he just seems to be doing what he's doing, and what he's doing is not affecting them, or it's not a threat to them, or it's not harming them in any way physically that they can see and detain him." So they left him. She even went as far as consulting psychiatrists to explain the situation, and they told her, "Well, we can't work on the patient that we have not seen. You have to bring him in so we can assess him and like try to know what the problem was." And well, remember, that's the impossible part, because Reggie, who he is not getting out of that house. He is not. Remember, this someone that resigned from his work to stay at home. Got that far. Yep. So he's going nowhere. Somebody who is sick and he had to be forced to the emergency, that could have taken his own life. So there was no way Beverly was going to drag him to the psychiatrist hospital. So now move back to the part where she went to the son's room with all the commotion she had, and she was like, "What's going on? Why are you hitting on our son?" And Reggie kept going. "He knows what he's done. That's why I'm hitting him. Everything I'm doing, he deserves it." And when Beverly turned to their son, like trying to ask what is wrong, what's your dad talking about, he was as confused as the mom. She said he doesn't know what he has done. The fact the dad just came in and was hit, he doesn't even know what he's done. And the mom immediately believed him and was like, told the dad, he tried to separate him, told the dad to go downstairs in the living room and try to calm the son, and send him back to sleep. And he like, these children have never been respecting to their dad. No matter what has been happening, they've never spoken up to him. They've never been disrespectful. So he knows his son has not done anything. So he went downstairs, like he's had enough. Like, moms, you can do everything to them, but don't touch on their kids. Don't touch on their loved ones. They will not take it. They will not take it. So she went down and told the husband, like, "You've gone too far. I don't know what is cooking up in your head, but you never touch my kids again. Like, if you do that, I'm going to kill you." Yeah, she actually did threaten him like that. He kept insisting he knows what he said. Like, "I don't know what is going up in your head. I don't know what sound, what voices are going up in your head, but don't extend it to my kids. Like, I am not joking. If you really want to test what I can do, touch any of my kids again." Well, she had it up to here this time around. So fast forwarding to another this day, They were just having a normal day as usual. He would always help them with the assignments, stuff like that. And she would just go around like asking for if anybody needs extra help. Like they were just sitting at the table like a family, like doing the normal stuff. And there was an exchange of word between the husband Reggie and the second son that was helping for homework. And before you know it, he was screaming like, "What did you say to me?" He was screaming at the second at the son. And before the boy wanted to say something, he smacked him. And before you know it, they were having a fist fight and something like that. And Beverly got in the middle, trying to separate them, and she was trying to get the man off, get the husband off their son. He smacked her and pushed her. Yeah. When the eldest son, the eldest, realized what was going on, he came in the jump into the father, trying to detain him, trying to restrain him, so trying to restrain him from doing some other harm or something like that. And doing all the commotion, things were happening and stuff. And at this point, Beverly had enough of it. She was like, "You are getting out of this house now. You just got to get your stuff and get out. And I'm fighting for a divorce. I've had enough of this. This your whole issue has been going on. I've been trying to stay." People thinking, "Oh, this is a phase, we can unpass it as a family," but it's each passing day it gets more scary and scary. Before you were just doing your paranoid activities, now physical. You're now getting physical with the children. Gosh, nobody knows what can happen tomorrow. Like you can just wake up tomorrow and something very bad that you can't even prevent, you can't even stop what have happened. So she had had her she had had a how they call break-even point. She was done. She told him, "You have to move out." She even gave him some money, like, "This house I am with the kids. You have to go out. This is some money. Get it and go far away. I'm filing for a divorce." So while she was there thinking he would go, well, he didn't move out. Yeah, Reggie didn't move out. Being coupled with all the episodes of all what he's been doing, she was really scared now. She told the kids, "Whilst I'm at work, when you guys close from school, nobody should get home till I get home because I don't know what your dad might do." This is somebody who's now getting not just paranoid, he's now getting physical. I don't know what he can do. He's dangerous now. So meanwhile, she was thinking, well, when the divorce paper finally get to her, that will be enough for him to move out forcefully because by then they'll be divorced. So he have no reason to be there again. So meanwhile, the divorce papers were well delivered, but he didn't tell her. She had no idea. And during that period, when he found the divorce paper, he now knew the wife was serious. He thought she was just blabbing and joking. And during that period, there were no more episodes. Everything was calm. Thinking like everything was turning back to normal. But no, she was not really having it. She had already made up her mind for a divorce. But she was there waiting for the divorce paper, like thinking it was delayed or something. And this afternoon, she had to go to work in the morning. Well, the kids, well, they had to stay at home because usually, since the dad was all this way, they were always like hanging somewhere, staying for a while after school. So when the mom get back home, that's when they could get home. Remember that why their dad now was quite dangerous. So Saturday, well, there was no school, so they had to stay home, and the mom had to go to work in the morning, and she had something to do after work. But she just felt this need to go home. She just felt this voice keep telling her she should go home. And she immediately left and went to home. Right from the front porch, from the door, she found something was strange. Like they had a little dog that would always welcome them when they opened the door, and the dog was nowhere to be found. She got in, she had like a really music playing but in a really low tone, well, she thought the husband must be the one listening to the music. And the boys were nowhere to be found. She went to their room, knocked, nobody was opening, and she opened the door. They were all lying and on the bed, and she was like, "Come on, guys, it's really late to be still sleeping. Wake up, you know, wake up, naughty heads, lazy bones, stuff like that." And she went to take off the cover, the red cover from the sundown, and she realized his hand was on his forehead, and looking closer, she found a gunshot on his head. Yeah, he was shot. Looking at the second son, same, and at the last one, his head was quite busted with gunshot. All three of her boys were shot dead. I can't imagine I can't imagine what she felt that moment like. I can begin to explain like she was numb, she was just confused. Everything was it I can't even explain it. And she was like she heard screams. She didn't even know it was coming from her. You just wake up on Saturday going to work, come back. Well, your husband has been putting upside some paranormal activities, doing some stuff, but you never would have thought, even though you know he was dangerous, you never would have thought he would go to this extent. These are his kids, you know? And she gathered some courage, called the police, told them what happened, and she immediately left the house because the husband was nowhere to be found, and she feared for her life. She thought, oh, he might still be out there with the gun, and she might be the next victim. And when the police came in, realized all what happened. They were now looking for the husband. Everybody guarded her because, well, she might be the next victim. And when she received a knock at the door, the police told, well, they have captured the husband. They didn't know where he was going. He had a ticket for 2 baggage claim, but they saw just 1 baggage. And right on the bus stop, right under the bus, they saw the gun inside the luggage. And he just kept insisting he was innocent, that he didn't do it. Like, what evil would drive you to? I don't know if something possessed him along the way, or he was just like that pretending like. I don't know. I don't know. Like, let's just see these red flags and run away. Anyways, he was taken into custody. He kept saying that he's innocent, but well, the judges didn't find him innocent. He was found guilty, and he was sentenced to death. Well, Beverly felt a little bit of relief. She felt, well, justice having served for her son. But I don't know to put myself in her situation. Like, she had going through all this, she had the courage to tell her story. Like, people, please, I know marriage is what they say till that do us part, but it takes two to tango. It takes two to get married. It takes two to make the marriage work. If it's not going right, you're free to walk away. Nobody's getting married with the intention of getting divorced except somebody who's going in for business. Everybody who's going for marriage is serious it's not going to get divorced. But when you see along the way you are alone in a marriage coupled with abuses, because you don't have to wait for physical abuse. There are a lot of abuses: emotional abuse, mental abuse, spiritual. I believe all these abuses were there except physical, and the physical manifested later on when it started hitting the son. You don't have to wait to that point. Like, from the beginning, get away before things turn to a point where you can't get away. Get away, especially when kids are involved. Move as fast as you can. Not just yourself, you're saving by this kid. Like, if he's doing signs like when he was hurting personal items of those children, that's just a little bit of sign, because it shows he could do something to get at you. Killing those boys to get at this Beverly, like not even minding those are his children. I think he was possessed. I think what the realm, I think what the stage where he was no longer human. Like to shoot three of the I think they might have been sleeping, because given these boys were big enough, they could shooting one person, the other person could have tried to like stop him or restrain him or something. I think these children were sleeping and he did the act he did. And that is so sad. Like, anyways, share your thoughts, what you think about this, what advice you can give. Remember, this is just one of so many other stories happening. This happened in 1964, but it's still happening up to now, and it keep happening. Your advice, your thoughts, or something might help, might go a long way, even if it's just as if a little bit, if it's just to prevent something. Just share your thoughts and tell me what you feel like about this story. Hoping to see you guys next time and sharing another story. Hoping to hear your thoughts. Bye for now.